Stefano Domenicali reportedly visited with those behind a plan to take the race away from Melbourne. Melbourne has long been the home of the Formula One Australian Grand Prix, but that may not remain the case as another city bids to snatch the annual event and claim it as its own. Officials in Sydney are plotting a bid for the race, and reportedly met with the sport's top chief Stefano Domenicali last week to discuss their proposal. According to The Australian, Domenicali took leading members of the New South Wales state government up on their offer of a meeting while F1 was in the country for this year's race. Melbourne's host contract runs until 2025, but Sydney is being primed as its replacement after that. The report went on to say that little was known about what was said at the meeting, as it was cloaked in secrecy and mired in a tangle of non-disclosure agreements. It also described the meeting as being part of a carefully calibrated charm offensive. Melbourne has been the home of the Australian Grand Prix for the last quarter of a century, having taken the rights from previous host city Adelaide and first ran a race in 1996. It has only not taken place twice since, in 2020 and 2021, due to the COVID pandemic and lockdown rules in Victoria. The Australian suggested that, should Sydney be successful in its bid to prize the event away from Melbourne, a circuit could be created which would see many of the city's iconic landmarks incorporated into the race weekend. It could take place in the business district, home to the Sydney Opera House and Harbour Bridge. The high-powered cars could not race across the bridge itself, over safety worries. But it has been the location for an F1 photoshoot in the past, when Aussie racer Mark Webber drove his Williams there in 2005 as part of a publicity stunt. A more traditional track exists in the far west of the city, 35 kilometers away in Eastern Creek. Should the city centre idea be shot down, then it is possible that an F1 race could be held there. This latest report comes after a recent statement from New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet, who openly backed the idea of a race in Sydney. "We've got the greatest city in not just the country, but the world," he said when reacting to a report last October that claimed sensitive talks were being held looking into the feasibility of a bid to host a race. "So we think we're going to have a fighting chance to bring that even there. But it's not just the Formula One, it's major events right across the country and across the world that we're going after."
If